Hi everyone, it's Little Blue and you're listening to my podcast, aka Little Blue, on Sunday evening, and what a glorious weekend it's been. What a beautiful, beautiful day it was today. The skies were so blue, hardly a cloud to be seen, and I got some really gorgeous photos when I used the sky as backdrop today. The whole country is still on lockdown, so you're allowed to go out for daily exercise, to get essentials like food and medication, or to run errands for people who are isolated, so they can't get food from themselves, can't get medication from themselves. So you can do sort of food drop-offs and stuff like that. So we have been able to get out for all of those reasons, and we really enjoy our morning walk. Baby Blue takes out a scooter, so she just goes zoom, and she's really loving it. Today we walked, we head as if we're going into town, but then we walk around all these little alleyways and back roads, so you don't pass anyone. So it's a really good little route, and each day I will find a brand new road that will still keep us on the track, but takes us down a new road so we can see if we can spot any new rainbows, and which we did. We found a road which had tons of rainbows in today. It was incredible, and they were just so beautiful as well. Loads of people crocheting them too. Like, we've seen a couple of crocheted rainbows. It's just wonderful. So a few more to our collection today. We decided to sort of walk up, and as we were walking home we took this hill which is known as the Struggle. For obvious reasons, it is really steep. And we went up there and down another little residential road to go over the green area that we go walking on. I was a little bit dubious because I thought it's a nice sunny day, it's the weekend, people might be going a bit crazy and there might be too many people. There were a lot of people in comparison to going first thing in the morning on a weekday, but not as many people that I would not consider walking over it. So we literally walked up the hill and then back round and then down to home via the bumps. We have to go via the bumps because that is Baby Blue's favourite part of the walk. It's just some bumps in a road that goes past a church. But again, it's a road that takes you off like the main pathways where you see a lot of people. So while we were walking through this area, it's protected by Surrey Wildlife Trust. There were people having picnics, there were people playing football, there were people sunbathing, and I really wished I had a cold ice bucket of water and I could just throw it, obviously at a 2-metre distance, over these people sunbathing so they'd go home instantly, because what the actual... without swearing, but it's baffling me why people are doing it. I mean, Baby Blue and I, when we go on a walk, halfway we stop, we find a bench and we have a snack. It's about 5 minutes so she can rest her legs so she's not running, because otherwise she gets so tired I end up having to pull her on her scooter all the way home and it does my back in. So we have our 5-minute rest and then we go straight home. We were there, so we did our 5-minute rest there. We had to walk up the hill, so we must have been there a good 10-15 minutes. And this person who was sunbathing didn't even move, not once, not even to roll over or anything like that. And I knew they were sunbathing because they were on a towel and they had their bag, and it was like they were at the beach. They weren't just like collapsed or anything, don't worry. But I sort of thought, do you know what? I'm not going to let it wind me up. I'm just going to enjoy the sunshine, enjoy our nice walk before we get home. And we got home, washed our hands, very important, took our shoes off, got ourselves sorted, watched a movie. And then I saw online that there was going to be a clap for children. Nobody did it, sadly, in our road, other than us. But Baby Blue had a saucepan and she got to bang it, so she was quite happy. And a few of my friends sent me videos of them clapping for her, which was really, really cute and really sweet. So if you did join in, thank you, because I know it wasn't as well organised as the NHS one. I found out at like 1 o'clock that it was going to happen at 3. So, there wasn't enough notice, and I think people are getting a little bit fed up. Not fed up, but they just don't want to do it. which I completely understand. But as I was sort of getting ready for it, like I'm making sure the windows were open and all of that, I looked down my road and I saw 4 guys had set up like an outdoor gym in their front garden. Now, I live in quite a populated area. It's very residential. And the house they're on is on a corner, which is technically a crossroads where 4 roads actually meet together. And to get sort of round it, you have to go directly past their front gate. But you wouldn't have been able to because they had the front gate open and some of them were on the path and some of them were in the garden. So you would have had to either crossed over the road at this massive crossroad junction or sort of preempted it a bit. But I then watched as one guy came out of a flat nearby and walked up, took his shirt off and joined them. And then another 2 guys came out of the same flat, looking over their shoulder as if they were doing something dodgy, took their shirt off and joined them. There were about 8 of them in the end. And they clearly weren't in the same household. They were clearly all mates meeting up and prearranged it. They were there. The new guys that joined them were only there for about 20 minutes, I would say. But the other guys were there out doing it for at least an hour and a half. I don't know how long they'd been there, like before I'd seen them either. So I was desperately trying to find out who to report it to. Because by then, after seeing all the other things today, I'd had enough. I found a thing online that you can report it to via the police website. But sadly, by the time I'd worked that all out, the majority of them had gone and there was only about 2 of them there. And they're probably the 2 that lived there. So the police would come around and wouldn't be able to do anything anyway. But I was just so baffled by how people can do that. And I've heard of people having dinner parties. And when we were walking down some of the alleyways, actually, we saw 2 sets of neighbours. They had the fence in between them, but 2 of the men was pretty much sat shoulder to shoulder, both sitting at a table, but with a glass of wine. And they all jumped out their skins when they saw me and Baby Blue coming down this thing, because they weren't expecting us to be walking down these back alleyways at all, because we never see anyone going down there anyway. And that in itself, just you can't do that. If you're going to do that, you have to sit 2 meters apart. Just because there's a wooden fence in between you does not. Your heads were still above it, and they could still see each other. But yes, so I've been quite cross today. But then the Queen, the wonderful, beautiful Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, addressed the nation today at 8:00, and I'm a real royalist. I do like the royal family, and I have a lot of respect for Queen Elizabeth, and she really cheered me up, and she really reminded me of all of the things I was going on about just after I left isolation a couple of weeks ago, and that was the positives, the good things, to look for the helpers, to remind ourselves of the good people in this country and how amazing we are in a crisis. All the nurses, all the shop workers, all the people who are going out day to day, literally risking their lives with this awful illness going around to keep us going, to make sure we've all got food on our tables, to make sure that we've got the medication we need, to make sure that we've got supplies and essentials, and that our family are well cared for. Like, so you might have somebody expecting a baby. You've still got to have your midwife check, so the midwives are still there. Or you've still got babies who need to have their immunisations and things like this. So all those sort of nurses are still there. So, yeah, she reminded me of all the really wonderful things. She reminded me of the smaller things, the community, the people, the everyday people who don't necessarily work in one of those industries, but are still going out and helping their friends and family. I mean, Baby Blue and I have done it. We've taken food parcels to my parents. We've taken food parcels to my friends who are in isolation. We've dropped flowers off. That was before isolation. Just to clear that up. We we dropped a couple of bunches of flowers off to my girlfriends, and if I do a food shop for one of my girlfriends, I'll always pop a bunch of flowers in or something just to make them smile, whether it be a little chocolate or a little Easter egg or something like that, because that sort of thing makes the difference. And she said thank you to all the people who are staying at home. And when she said that, I actually wept. I shed a little tear, because I think that's what we all needed to hear. It's thank you for your efforts, because although you're not actually doing anything and you're staying in your house, it's bloody hard, especially if you have mental health issues, especially if you don't necessarily get on with the people you live with, especially if you're a single parent and it is just you with a child, or you've maybe got a child who has extra needs and things like that, and you're now on your own doing it. No matter your situation, it's bloody hard. You could be on your own completely and just bored out of your brains, and even that is maddening at times. So to hear her acknowledge the fact that it was appreciated was so comforting to me. And then to hear all the stories of the things that people were doing, to have the children painting rainbows, even that, like, we've done that. And I could really identify with it. And there are so many little things that all club together and just all remind us of the positivity within this world. I've just seen on social media, actually, a friend of mine had a bottle of gin dropped on her doorstep because one of her neighbours doesn't drink gin and knows that she does. And there's a house on our little route that we do, and one day they had a box of bread, of just baguettes, and then they've currently got a box of bananas just for people to take, people in need. The community fridge that is based at the local church in town yesterday had 2 tables outside with food for people just to take. We didn't go and actually have a look. We would normally, but I just wanted to leave it because I know there are a lot of people in real dire straits at the moment, and I was there before this all started. I know what it is like to not know where your next meal is coming from. It is tough. So I wanted to sort of not take away, if that makes sense. But the fact that it is there, and the fact that we here locally, we have a community, we've got an online Facebook group, and you can write on it, I'm stuck, I'm in isolation, I desperately need help, I can't get hold of any of my friends, can anybody pick me up some bread and milk and drop it to my door? And then someone will say, what area are you in? Okay, I live near you, I'll do it. No strings attached, no questions asked. I mean, it's so wonderful. And it really warmed my heart today. And I think right now, everybody is getting to that stage where you're having to really process this now, because it has gone on for a very long time. We're all having to find ways week on week to deal with it and to keep going. And we will get there. Take it one day at a time and really focus on those positive things. Don't watch the news every day. Watch it every now and again. And if you hear a big announcement coming up, then watch it. But don't drive yourself potty with the negative side of it, with all the facts, with all the figures, with all the statistics. If I knew how to turn those blimmin' news reports off my phone, then I would, because they're driving me potty. But what I want to do is really focus on that positive news again. So I'm going to make lists again, and I'm going to start reporting it again on my podcast, because when I did that personally, it made me feel so much better. And if I can give some of that positivity and hope and just good feeling to you guys listening, I know I'm doing a good job. But anyway, I'm going to bring this to an end. I'm going to go and watch some of the free stuff that's online. The National Theatre and Andrew Lloyd Webber have released some plays and stuff. So I'm going to go and check those out. But take care of yourselves. I'll see you all tomorrow. Look after yourself. Stay safe and stay in as much as you can. Please follow the rules. Please. But most importantly, look after you. Take care. Bye.